I honestly really wasn't sure how to start this video as, basically now this $10,000 to $17,000 product is basically going to become obsolete, but let's just get into it, and I'll just tell you what's going on with the Apple Watch. So WWDC was on Monday, as I've been reporting this past week. At WWDC, they announced WatchOS 5, which will be coming to Apple Watches, and it's going to have some pretty neat features. Like, you'll now be able to listen to podcasts on the watch, which should have been there from day one, in my opinion. There, you can use the Apple Watch as walkie-talkies, and they will now be adding Siri support to even more apps. It's funny. I kind of agree with Shin that they should have added a watch face or rather than just using the ones that come with the watch. But that's some WatchOS 5 for you. If you want to learn more about it, you could read up on it on Apple's website. I actually have a link in the description under my sources cited section. But one pretty shocking thing, and even myself, I was pretty surprised to hear this, is that WatchOS 5 will not support the first generation Apple Watch, the very first one that came out in 2015. And unfortunately, this includes the Apple Watch edition, the very first one, the gold one, the $10,000 to $17,000 watch, which I actually got to see back in the day, and it was a really nice watch. My favorite variant was the 42 millimeter gold Apple Watch edition that came with the red leather buckle, which I don't have $17,000 lying around, but if I had that kind of money, I would have sapped it up. But unfortunately, I said the price, $10,000, and it went up to $17,000. So, is the Apple Watch edition, the gold one, now just going to be obsolete? Like, admittedly, when I first heard the story, I thought, oh well, you may as well just have taken your Apple Watch edition, your gold one, and just throw it on the street because now it's going to be worthless. Like, is it like what Mashable is saying where it's pretty much worthless now? My personal experience with iOS devices is that you could still technically use them even if they stop sending out software updates. Like, for very recently, I started using my 5th generation iPod Touch and 1st generation iPad Mini. And even though those no longer got software updates as of, I believe, iOS 10, they still work fine, but I had to get rid of a lot of the apps to make them usable because they were really starting to slow down under a lot of workload, at least the workload I have with my current iPhone 7. So, in my opinion, at the most, you'll probably be able to use it a year after WatchOS 5, and then after that, it's just going to start getting really laggy. Like, it's pretty much going to be unusable. And I think the reason why WatchOS 5 is not coming to the first generation Apple Watch, including the Apple Watch edition, the gold one, is because the S1, which was the system in a package, basically the processor in the first generation Apple Watch, was pretty slow, especially when it came to cross-loading apps. Like if you wanted to open TripAdvisor, the app was sitting on your iPhone, so it took some time for your Apple Watch to wirelessly connect to that iPhone to load it up. So I think that's the reason why. And we've seen this before with quite a few, especially Apple's iOS products, where the first generation tends to lose software support only after a few years. I mean, for example, the first generation iPhone came out in 2007, and it stopped receiving iOS updates with iOS 4, which came out in 2010, which was 3 years from the time the original iPhone launched. While the iPhone 5S, which came out in 2013, is going to get iOS 12, the new version, and that's 5 years after the iPhone 5S launch. So compare that, 3 years versus 5 years. So I think that's what's going on because the S1 is such a slow chip. It can't support WatchOS 5. So yeah, unfortunately, this is it. I mean, this is usually the part where normally when I hear like my iOS device is going to be they're dropping software support, that's usually time for me to just upgrade, get the new version, just like when I went from the 5th generation iPod Touch, I got my iPhone SE, which was actually my very first iPhone. And then when I lost the SE for a while, I upgraded to an iPhone 7. So, yeah, but this is definitely not that kind of a case where you can just say, oh, well, upgrade. Hey, at least I get a new Apple Watch, because, how do you get rid of something that's like $10,000 to $17,000, And I know, even though I told you you'll still be able to use it for at least another year, I'm sure you're looking at your Apple Watch Edition, the one or two of you guys that actually own one. God bless you, first of all. You're looking at it and thinking now it's practically worthless. So, as a person who doesn't own anything that costs that much, I'm not really sure what I can tell you, other than now that gold Apple Watch is probably going to be like a collector's item of yours. At least you have that right. Or maybe some of you are probably going to sell it on eBay for God knows how much. I mean, good God, since not that many Apple Watch editions, I'm willing to bet not many of them sold because it was such a premium item. And you couldn't even buy them at a lot of Apple stores. I think in my case, when the Apple Watch edition first came out, the gold one, I had to go out to the Apple store in South Coast Plaza in Costa Mesa to get a look at it. I don't recall it being... I think it was available in the one closest to me, but it was definitely not available at every Apple store. It was only sold in the very premium malls, So, I can't really tell you what you should do now with something that valuable. Like, if I had one, I would probably keep it as a collector's item, especially since it was a first generation Apple Watch. So, So it's really up to you. Once again, I certainly don't have a product of anything that costs that much. Not my camera, not the MacBook Pro I'm looking at, not my iPhone. I mean, hell, if you combined everything, it probably wouldn't even come up to $17,000. So, sorry to tell you this. It sucks. It would be nice if Apple kept up support like how they are continuing to support the iPhone 5S. But as a first generation product, that's kind of what happens. It kind of goes into early adopter problems. You get, and like, I'm kind of guilty of it myself, where I want to, get it first because I'm so excited for this product to come out. Like, I got my Nintendo Switch on launch day, my Nintendo 3DS on launch day, and so forth. I even just like going to the Apple store, like when the day the iPad first came out, even though there was a huge crowd, I wanted to see it. So, it's really up to you. I would say keep it as a collector's item, or if you do want to upgrade, I think you could easily sell it on eBay. And this isn't really a case of, price gouging or being a scalper. It's just that you have a very valuable item that could potentially be worth even more than $17,000 on eBay now. So, sorry to tell you this. It sucks, but that's what happens with first generation products. So, yeah, so this has been Bloodmoon Bobby, and please let me know down below what how you personally feel about this. Only 3 years later, the Apple Watch, original Apple Watches are pretty much obsolete. And if you have a gold Apple Watch edition, tell me, what are you going to do with it now? So please let me know down in the comments. And if you have any ideas for Apple related stories, my email is down in the description, so please let me know, and I will see you later. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.